gangster slime. Yeah, we in Castilla, don't you cross that line.
I do this shit for
Clementine in the present time.
I love my grandma past death.
Yeah, she all mine.
If I could rewind time, I'd bring Damien back. When we was listening to Carter 1 and Gangsta Black.
Yeah, real Memphis shit. Walking through East Memphis, bitch.
That's Hoover territory all around Chuck and shit. Make this song cry, I'ma make a bitch cry. I'm a gangster nigga, you can see it in my eyes. You know we move the trap every time we compromise. I sit back, analyze, and come up off niggas' eyes. That Nina oversight.
Y'all come on in, come on in. We finna get ready to get into it, y'all.
I pay the judge off, I pay my lawyer to advise. Make this song cry, and I'ma make a bitch cry. Make this song cry, I'ma make a bitch cry. I'm a gangster nigga, you can see it in my eyes. You know we move the trap every time we compromise. I sit back, analyze, and come up on niggas' demise. That Nina oversight, jump out with that bitch, yo surprise. Bitch, it ain't no this guy, the witness in court acting blind. I pay the judge off, I pay my lawyer to advise. Make this song cry, and I'ma make a bitch cry. Make this song cry, I'ma make a bitch cry. Make a bitch cry.
Y'all come on in, come on in. We finna get ready to get into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to give everybody time to go ahead and get in.
Hey, bro, I need you.
We finna get into it. We got witnesses. We got their statements, full recordings
Okay. We in South
of
Memphis
what they
with choppers,
viewed
ho.
on the cameras at the school when they filled out the paperwork. We got part 2 from this Up There podcast with Loon. Shout out to Loon and this Up There podcast. We got the second part to what Dr. Umar was saying yesterday. So I'm gonna play that. We got News Channel 24 out there in Texas. We got they built the panel. We got what they had to say, and they chime in on the situation too. Then we have Stephen A. King with Miss Laura Coates, one of the top attorneys, one of the top criminal defense attorneys. She's also speaking on the situation and where she believes Karmelo's defense went wrong.
I do this shit for Clementine in the present time. I love my grandma past death, yeah, she all mine.
Yeah.
Rewind time, I bring Damien back. When we was listening to Carter 1 and Gangsta Black, yeah, real Memphis shit.
I can't play Trap Queen. It's they'll get me for copyrights. All the music you heard me playing on this channel, it's my music. It's music I recorded in the studio. That way I don't get hit with copyrights. All my beats are made by KE on the track from Atlanta. I buy all my beats from him, so I own the copyrights to my beats and my vocals, so I can play my music.
Make this song cry, I'ma make a bitch cry. I'm a gangster nigga, you can see it in my eyes.
The first clip we gonna get into though is
I sit back, analyze, and come up on niggas' demise.
Dr. Umar.
Oversight, jump out with that bitch, yo surprise.
So let's start it off
This
with
guy, the witness in court acting blind. I
Dr.
pay the
Umar.
judge off, I pay my lawyer to advise.
Give me a second. Let me get the sound right, y'all.
Karmelo Anthony, how you feel about him getting indicted for first-degree murder?
No.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Unfortunate, but I wasn't surprised.
Okay.
Daddy Metcalf never forgave Karmelo Anthony for what happened to his son. But let that have been a black mother or a black father, they would have forgave him the minute they got the phone call.
I do want to start somewhere
part
though
one
that is
and part
pressing
two,
on
y'all.
Black America. There's a lot of
I
people
think they
speaking
got a
about
part
it.
3
I
coming
want to
out.
start with the Karmelo
Yeah, they got
Anthony
a part
case.
3 coming out.
To me, it feels bigger than a
tomorrow.
courtroom. As a
So
young
we're
black
gonna come
man that's
back with
convicted
part
and
3.
there's a white young man that's dead. The family is grieving, the internet is divided, and black parents are looking at this, wondering how do we protect our sons.
Loon,
Did you have a chance to look at the
Loon
case,
is the
and
host
what
for
do you
It's
feel
Up There
about, we'll get to the
podcast.
sentencing. Let's
Not
deal
Lil
with the
Wayne,
verdict
Daddy.
first. What do you
Indigo,
feel about
you
the
crazy.
verdict?
What did you say
finding
before that?
him
We'll get
guilty?
to the
Sentencing.
sentencing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. First of all, I want to say this.
Oh my God.
Caucasian
Y'all
nation,
like the video and subscribe to the
the
channel.
good white folks of
We
America,
trying to
are
hit
so disingenuous.
200 subscribers.
And the reason I
We
say
almost
Caucasian
there,
nation
y'all. We can do it.
is so
Let's
disingenuous, Loon.
Do it.
Is
Everybody
because
like the video.
when black people
Subscribe to the channel.
receive an unfair trial, we are supposed to respect the verdict. But when white people feel that they haven't received a fair trial, they don't have to respect the verdict. The other thing that makes Caucasian nation so disingenuous, Loon,
Ooh-wee.
is they always like to treat every black case in its own special vacuum. In other words, when we talk about Karmelo Anthony, we can't talk about the man who took Trayvon Martin's life.
George Zimmerman.
George Zimmerman. You can't put it in context.
Can't mix it.
We can't talk about
Karmelo Anthony parents did not trade him for a whip in the crib. They had already bought the crib before he even had his case. They bought a new crib once he knew that he was taking it to trial, and he pleaded not guilty. The death threats started rolling in. So with the death threats rolling in, his parents actually had to go ahead and move. They had to buy a new car, and they sold their red Jeep to, who they sell their red Jeep to? Charleston White. Charleston White bought their red Jeep because the white boys was riding around the neighborhood looking for the red Jeep so they could vandalize it, right? They wasn't able to find it because Charleston White bought it, so they already had bought them a new car. The dad worked for the top Mercedes-Benz in Texas. So y'all like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Rick Child who took Cyrus Carmack Belton's life. We can't talk about Kyle Rittenhouse getting off, Rick Child getting off. Daniel Penny choked a man out in a New York subway and got off on standing his ground, and the man never touched him. The reason white society, Caucasian nation, doesn't like black people to discuss our legal lynchings in context, because if you put it in context, Loon, you cannot come to any other decision that there are two standards of justice in this country. One black, one white, and it's been that way for 407 years. Now, with that being said, we have to understand that to be black in America is a crime in and of itself. In fact, the original crime of America is to be black.
Right.
The original crime.
The original crime. The original
The first crime.
The first crime was to be black. Because remember, Loon, we were never supposed to be citizens. We were never supposed to be free. We were never supposed to be here after slavery ended. So every time a white person sees you, your existence itself is a crime against white humanity. Now, with the Karmelo Anthony situation, We also see clearly that black people have no legal right to stand your ground, even in a state where standing your ground is legal.
That's crazy to me. And so for me, that affects my understanding, because I'm having trouble comprehending how, okay, I'm sitting down, he's standing up. Before we get into the details of the case, though, do you think he got a fair trial, Karmelo Anthony?
He could not get a fair trial.
It was impossible.
It was impossible. He's in Collin County, Texas.
Shout out
Black
to Killing
people are
Villain.
10%.
They
If
my
that,
number
how
one
he's gonna
fan
get a fair
right
trial?
now. They at the top
Lou,
with the
if
most
the
comments,
trial
the
was
most
gonna even
likes,
attempt
most
to be fair,
interactions,
why would
and
there
they
be no black
subscribe to the
jurors?
channel. Y'all don't
For the
forget to
trial
subscribe
even,
to the channel
the
and like the
Constitution
video.
says you're supposed to be tried by a jury of who?
Your
peers. They had a jury of all whites. Every man was Caucasian.
It wasn't all whites. It was 8 whites, 3 Asians, and 1 Arab. But still, none of those were his peers. None of those people are his actual ethnicity, race, religion, none of that. You know what I'm saying? So how was he being judged by his peers? I don't know. Y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 200 subscribers tonight.
Asians, 1 Arab. Now, I want to say this to Black America. Multiculturalism died with Karmelo Anthony's conviction. Multiculturalism died with Karmelo Anthony's conviction. And the reason I say multiculturalism died with Karmelo Anthony's conviction is because if non-white people of color gave a damn about us, Karmelo wouldn't be in jail. Asians don't care about you. Arabs don't care about you. Latinos don't care about you. If they did, Loon, why is there no difference in the outcomes when they are asked to weigh in on the guilt or innocence of African people? All non-blacks in America are white as far as consciousness and opinion goes.
But I think it's always been a one. I think black people has been so given with their love and understanding and their innocence, and we receive very little in return for that.
And why do we still give it?
I don't know. I think we think it's a part of the barter system.
I'm gonna tell you why we still give it. Because we don't give it to each other.
That's a fact.
If black love and compassion and forgiveness is universal, why we don't have none for each other?
Right.
It ain't universal, Loon. Compassion and love for your non-black enemies is not a of your spirituality. It's a function of your lack of self-respect. The reason we forgive white people as soon as they unalive us is because we deeply desire validation and acceptance by white. If you notice, Daddy Metcalf never forgave Karmelo Anthony for what happened to his son. But let that have been a black mother or a black father, they would have forgave him the minute they got the phone call. We don't teach people to respect black life because we forgive them as soon as they take black life. You ain't never seen no white person forgive no black person. Even in a justifiable homicide, which is what Karmelo's situation was, they ain't never forgiven. Only black people do that. It has nothing to do with Jesus, Muhammad, or spirituality. It's about your need for white validation.
Do you think that the 35 years felt like justice, though? What
it should have never came to that, first of all. It should have never came to that, first of all.
So you think he should have got off innocent of the charges that was brought on Karmelo Anthony?
Let's go back, because you're putting the cart before the horse. Let's go back to the indictment from the grand jury.
Requires you back for some more.
The grand jury decided Karmelo would be charged with murder. Who's on the grand jury, Loon? You don't know. It's a secret. I want you to see how white supremacy operates behind the scenes. You can't challenge the grand jury, Loon, because you don't even know who they are.
Right.
So the people who decided this 17-year-old would be charged with murder are complete
Melly, you're right.
secrets.
We do need
and you
unity.
and I both know they all white. Are you with me? So first, deal with the grand jury. Him being charged with murder was a crime in and of itself.
So what do you say
Hold
about
on,
the
let me
event?
give you one more. You move.
So we also found out what actual tool was used in the stabbing, because they kept on saying it wasn't a knife, it was a tool. And at first we thought it was the Swiss blade tool, but it's not the Swiss blade tool. It's the dagger tool that has the wedges on one end and the sharp point on the other end that you use. You wouldn't know unless you run track. If you ever ran track, 2x4, 4x4, like the fast running races and stuff, the 100, the 200, the sprints and stuff like that. Your track shoes, your running shoes for the track, it has spikes on the bottom, but those spikes can come off your running shoes. It's a tool that comes with your track shoes where you can tighten those spikes up and take those spikes off the bottom of your shoes. That's the tool that Karmelo Anthony had. And allegedly, when he got into the scuffle with Austin, his brother, and the other two white boys, Austin supposedly fell on him while he had it in his hand, right? Allegedly. And then it was 6 white boys, but 2 of them like walked up with the boys to the bleachers, and then they walked back down and they sat at the bottom as lookouts because they was finna put an ass whooping on Karmelo. They were finna put an ass whooping on Karmelo, so they had to. 2 of them had to be lookouts and a distraction to the coach. You know what I'm saying? It's just sad that somebody lost their life from it. A kid lost their life from it. You know what I'm saying? Well, 2 kids lost their life from it. Because being locked up in jail, goddammit, for 35 years, that ain't no living. You done lost your life too. Y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel.
Too fast. Hold on. In Texas, if you're 17, you're automatically tried as an adult.
Yeah.
Grand jury had no control over that. Are you with me?
Right.
Yes.
He was 17. He's automatically tried as an adult, but he doesn't automatically have to be indicted with murder. That could have been aggravated, right?
Yeah.
Manslaughter.
Right.
There's a whole list of crimes they could have went with.
So you're saying he should have been charged, just not with the first degree murder or whatever? Was it
homicide.
first degree?
He didn't have to be charged at all.
So
This could have been self-defense.
A white young boy body drops, and you think he should not have been charged?
The reason you labeled it a white boy is you're putting it within the context of the racism of American society. Let me flip it around for you, Loon.
It's
If
a kid.
210 pound,
It's a kid. When I talk about Karmelo Anthony and Austin McCleaf, I either call them by their name or I say 2 kids lost their lives. That kid lost his life. 1 kid stabbed another kid. And I say it like that because there's no racism in my heart. Right? And I haven't been stereotyped. I haven't been brainwashed by racism. Like, it doesn't affect me. Right? What affects me is the way racism affects my people. Black people. So when racism affects black people, it bothers me. It bothers me. When racism affects black people, it bothers me. And I have to get on the case. You know what I'm saying? I have to see what it's about. I have to get in there and analyze it for my people. You know what I'm saying? And back my people up and take up for my people. but racism doesn't bother me. That's why you don't hear it in my talk, but and I haven't been brainwashed, right? So Loon, when he talking about it, he's saying the little white boy, the young white boy, the black boy. That's because he putting a title on the front of both of them because he's been brainwashed by racism. You know what I'm saying? To where it's a part of his thoughts. Y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel. Yeah, it's a part of his thoughts. Nah, I'm not the leader of my people, but I will step up to be the leader of my people. Look, and if my people need me to get on somebody's ass like you, trust me, I'm going to get on somebody's ass like you. You know what I'm saying? Uh, we don't care about racism on this podcast. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can do that shit in the comments all you want to, and that's the internet stalking and internet cyber attacking. That shit don't bother me. I'm still gonna be here for my people. Idiot that. Brandon Lee Blatchford. Let's get back to the video, y'all. Y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel.
Football players walk up to a 135-pound black boy, grab him by the hoodie, put him in a headlock, try to jump him
What
and
you
stop
said,
him out. And that white boy unintentionally stabs him, or he falls onto the white boy's knife, which is what we believe happened. Okay? Austin fell onto Karmelo's knife trying to attack him.
Boom. So that's where we ended at last night. And boom. That's where we gonna start.
Can Dr. Umar acquit a white boy of murder
this is part
and self-defense?
Do you think that the 35 years felt like justice, though? What
it should have never came to that, first of all. It should have never came to that, first of all.
So you think he should have got off innocent of the charges that was brought to him?
Yeah, Rockquest.
Let's go back.
It's pot I'm smoking.
For the horse. Let's go back to the indictment from the grand jury.
We call it Mary Jane.
Decided Karmelo would be charged with murder. Who's on the grand jury, Loon? You don't know. It's a secret. I want you to see how white supremacy
Thanks for the
operates
100s. Keep them coming.
You can't challenge the grand jury, Loon, because you don't even know who they are.
Right.
So the people who decided this 17-year-old would be charged with murder are complete secrets. And you and I both know they're all white. Are you with me? So first, deal with the grand jury. Him being charged with murder was a crime in and of itself.
So what do you say about the
Let
event?
me give you one more. You're moving too fast. Hold on. In Texas, if you're 17, you're automatically tried as an adult. Grand jury had no control over that. Are you with me?
Yes.
He was 17. He's automatically tried as an adult, but he doesn't automatically have to be indicted with murder. That could have been aggravated, right? Manslaughter.
Right.
There's a whole list of crimes they could have went with.
So you're saying he should?
Now that's what I was saying. As a kid, you know what I'm saying? His charge could have been like the white boy that killed the Latino. Now the white boy, his was premeditated. The white boy was supposed to get first degree murder, but they gave reckless homicide. He invited a Latino kid to the bathroom to fight, right? She like, tomorrow we gonna fight in the bathroom. Yeah, man, we gonna fight in the bathroom. So the Latino dude, he ain't bagging down. He like, yeah, okay, we gonna fight in the bathroom. I'm gonna whoop your ass, right? So the young white boy, he goes home and he gets a knife. The next day, he come back to the fight in the bathroom with a knife. But the Latino boy don't know he got a knife, right? He swing. The Latino boy got some of his friends up in there. The white boy got some of his friends in there. The Latino boy swings, and the white boy instantly comes at him with the knife. And they said he repeatedly stabs him. He stabs him 4 times, and while he's stabbing him, he's telling him, "Yeah, I'm gonna put him in the hospital. I'm gonna put him in the hospital." Right? They charge the white boy with reckless homicide, which would have gave him, he would only had to do 2 years max. So the judge put like a weapons upgrade on his case, which made them give him 10 years. But he gonna serve 5, because you got to serve half of your sentence before you up for parole. He gonna serve 5 years, right? And he's gonna be up for parole. The Latino boy's family, they probably won't even show up to his parole hearing because they done already moved. You know what I'm saying? Now they probably moved to another neighborhood, but I believe they went back home. You know what I'm saying? Back to Mexico or wherever they from. Cause I got a friend. He from Venezuela. I got a friend from Cuba. I got two friends from Brazil. You know what I'm saying? And they live here in America. You know what I'm saying? They work a job every day. They be sending money back home, you know what I'm saying, to their country and shit for their family. They take care of their folks. You know what I'm saying? But that right there is something that I believe hurt their family so much they was like, man, forget about this. We ain't gotta live in America. You know what I'm saying? They lost one of their youngest family members who was finna get ready to graduate high school. You know what I'm saying? So rest in peace to the Latino kid, and condolences to his family. You know what I'm saying? I hope they doing okay out there. Let's get back into it, y'all.
Could have been charged, just not with the first degree murder or whatever. Was it first degree?
He didn't have to be charged at all.
So
This could have been self-defense.
A white young boy body drops, and you think he should not have been charged.
The reason you labeled it a white boy is you're putting it within the context of the racism of American society. Let me flip it around for you, Loon.
Okay.
If two 210 pound football players, black football players, walk up to a 135 pound black boy, grab him by the hoodie, put him in a headlock, try to jump him and stomp him out, and that white boy unintentionally stabs him, or he falls onto the white boy's knife, which is what we believe happened. Okay?
Right.
Austin fell onto Karmelo's knife trying to attack him because the knife is 3.5 inches.
But it's not a knife. That's why it's 3.5 inches. It's the lime green tool, sharp edge on this end and a hole on this end with the wedges where you can unscrew the spikes on the bottom of your track shoes. That's what it is. That's what it is. But everyone's getting caught up with saying knife because knife been out there so long. Everybody's been saying knife. It's like knife this, knife that. You know what I'm saying? So
the cut was only 2. Loon, if I'm stabbing you, why am I going halfway with a knife blade that's only 3.5 inches? You fell onto my knife. Regardless, Loon, do you really think those 2 black boys who fell on that white boy's knife are going to get convicted of murder in 35 years?
No.
Do you think they even get indicted with murder?
That's a fact. No,
we know
I
they don't. You know
Yeah.
why? Because there's the case of another boy by the name of Kason Allison. Have you heard of him?
No.
Same year, same state.
Former Belton High student Kason Allison was sentenced today to the maximum 10 years in prison for the fatal stabbing of fellow student Joe Ramirez. This comes after a jury found Allison guilty of criminally.
Now listen, y'all, this is about the white boy that I just told y'all about that was premeditated, that stabbed a Latino kid in the bathroom. He invited him to fight, and the next day he brought a knife to the fight, and he stabbed him 4 times while saying, I'm gonna put him in the hospital, I'm gonna put him in the hospital. Like everybody was scared and raging. One of the teachers had to retire from seeing the boy's body. And the way the white boy stabbed him up, she had to retire. Older white woman, she was like she had to retire because of her mental. Like she going through therapy right now. This shit is crazy, y'all.
Negligent homicide, and a judge added a deadly weapon enhancement to his potential sentence. 6 News reporter Sydney Walker was in the courtroom for today's sentencing and has the latest.
Nearly 3 years after Joe Ramirez died, the man who stabbed him will spend a decade behind bars. Judge Wade Faulkner sentenced Allison to 10 years in confinement in the institutional division. This comes after 9 witnesses testified, including the mothers of both Ramirez and Allison, school employees who responded to the stabbing, and Allison's therapist. 3 Belton ISD staff members described lasting trauma from that day, sleepless nights, anxiety, and PTSD. One teacher...
You hear? I'm talking about, they said multiple employees of the school, sleeping anxiety and PTSD from seeing this murder. So you can tell that it was brutal. But I think they even gonna mention the mother, the Latino woman. She was in court when they gave him 10 years. And she yelled at the judge and said, you only gave him 10 years and I done lost my son forever. I said, wow. Wow. Y'all listen. Y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel.
Said the incident forced her into medical retirement. Joe's family tearfully shared how his loss has changed their lives and say they haven't received true justice. The defense presented Allison's parents and counselor, who testified about his growth and remorse over 3 years of therapy, revealing that Allison is now a father. Defense attorney Boyd warned that prison would be a, quote, death sentence for his client and asked for just 2 years. But prosecutors successfully argue for the maximum, calling Ramirez's death, quote, entirely avoidable. When Faulkner announced the 10-year sentence, Ramirez's family erupted in applause and cheers. The judge quickly restored order while Allison's family sat in stunned silence. Following the sentencing, Ramirez's mother took the stand, looked Allison in the eye, and said, quote, you get this measly 10-year sentence while I'm serving a life sentence without my son. The DA's office said, quote, they hope today's verdict can allow Joe's family and our community to move forward. Allison was immediately taken into custody and booked into the Bell County Jail, where he began his sentence today. In Bell.
And that was a premeditated murder. That was a premeditated murder. He did that shit on purpose. And he stabbed him multiple times. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Like, if you're going to charge him, if you're going to charge the young black man, charge him the right way. Charge him the right way. Don't just take his life away, because that killing was a mistake. Like when people get drunk, when adults do killings, most accidental killings that's been done by adults is when we drink right here and then we get behind the wheel and have a wreck with somebody and kill somebody in the other car or run somebody over. Adults have done that plenty of times, intoxicated. A mistake, a big mistake that they can't give that person life back, but those adults deserve another chance, right? So that's all I'm saying for the kid. He deserves another chance, right? His wasn't even premeditated like the white kids, and you only gave him 10 years. You didn't even charge him with first degree murder, and that's what first degree murder is. Look it up. Go ahead, hit Google right now. Look it up, y'all. Premeditated murder is what first degree is, right? When you do it premeditated, you planned it, and then it was aggravated, like it was aggressive. You showed aggressiveness, right? When you took a person's life. This guy didn't try to do that. One time, he disgusted that bruh is stabbed. But then at the same time, he's showing remorse. He's crying the whole time after. And he's asking the teacher, is he gonna be all right? Then when the police come and put him in handcuffs and put him in the back of the car, he asking the police officer while crying, and the police document this. He's crying, asking officer such and such, is the guy gonna be okay? Is the guy gonna be okay? Repeatedly. And you think that's somebody that deserves a life sentence? No. No. Manslaughter. That's what he should have been charged with, manslaughter. Max on manslaughter is 15 years. Right now, he's 19, 15 years. He'll be 35. He'll be my age, getting out of fucking jail. Because most likely they'll make him do the whole 15, because it's a short sentence. You do the whole 15, and he's black, right? He'll get out right now, like at my age, I'm 35, right? And he'll still be able to do something with his life at that point. 35 years, he'll be 50 something. He'll be coming out. He won't have kids. He won't have grandkids to come out to. He'll miss everything for one mistake. Everybody deserves a second chance. You telling me when you die and you go to heaven and you at the gates and from God, you're not gonna be like, man, God, I know I made some mistakes. Give me another chance. Mistakes with an S. You know what I'm saying? This guy had no criminal record. He was a star athlete. You see the cover photo? He was a star athlete just like Austin was. Ball players. He's just one of the smaller football players. So he's more like probably a running back or something like that. Running back, well, most running backs are big nowadays. He's probably like a wide receiver, tight end, somebody that can take off fast. You know what I'm saying? But come on, y'all. I mean, no compassion in our heart when it comes to kids, because our governments have really poisoned all of our kids' minds. That's why they took discipline out of homes in the U.S., right? Out of straighten you up, and you'll go back to class and make good grades and stuff. Nowadays, that don't happen anymore. And then the internet, you know, and what they put out there in front of our kids, and our kids eat it up. And then they put it out there so much that it brainwashes our kids, and our kids' realities, right? So, goddamn it, we got to do better on how we raising our kids, and that's for his parents. Yeah, y'all should have did better. Y'all was hard, but you wasn't hard enough, and maybe that's because You wasn't focused on Karmelo enough. Let's get back into it, y'all.
What happened in Case and Allison's case, Loon? This white boy invited this Latino boy to the school's bathroom for a fight. The white boy, Case and Allison, was armed with a knife. He invites him to with a knife. And in the course of the fight, he pulls out the knife, stabs the Latino 4 times. He dies, Loon. Same year, same state. He doesn't get charged with murder. He got charged with aggravated involuntary manslaughter or something to that effect. That's what his sentence was.
What?
Premeditated. Karmelo didn't know they was coming into the tent. Cason's case, he invited the boy. He invited him to the bathroom, shanked him 4 times, Loon, murdered him. Even the students in the school said
That's
he was
crazy,
saying he
y'all.
wanted to put him on life support. Guess what his charge was? Aggravated involuntary manslaughter or something
That's
similar.
what he was
Guess
saying.
what
He
his
was
sentence
going to put him on
10
life
years.
support.
Guess when he'll get paroled?
I'm going to
5.
put him on life support.
Help me understand
I'm
something,
going to put
Loon.
him on life
Help
support.
me understand.
He killed the
Karmelo
boy.
Anthony, Case and Allison. Same age, same state. The one, self-defense. Murder conviction, 35 years. The other, premeditated stabbing 4 times.
Yup.
Aggravated manslaughter.
It's crazy.
10-year sentence. He's home in 5. Because Karmelo was convicted of murder, Loon, he has to do half the sentence.
Yes.
17 and a half years. Case and Allison, 4 shanks. He'll be home in 5.
That's crazy.
So you think it's racism is the reason why they didn't interpret it with a lesser charge at any level? Because they could have did it before they charged him.
Grand
They coulda
jury
did it
sets
in
the charge.
But they could have, in the jury, they could have interpreted a lesser charge too.
Okay, let's deal with that. Judge Cockroach told the jury, you can
He
consider
said Judge
manslaughter.
Cockroach,
I don't believe he did that to help Karmelo.
Right.
He did that to make sure Karmelo didn't walk like Rick Child Che Mean in Columbia, South Carolina. You see that?
Yeah.
Rick Child, the jury was given no instruction to consider a lesser charge. Find him guilty of murder or he walks. They did it on purpose. It was a setup. First of all, both cases were setups, and we'll get to Cyrus Carmack Belton later.
Yes.
With Karmelo Anthony's case, Judge Cockroach told the jury they could consider manslaughter, Loon, not to help Karmelo get a lesser charge, to make sure Karmelo wouldn't be acquitted.
And I believe that there's definitely strategy involved with all things when you get into that court.
Strategy? How about, okay, Mike Howard is the lead attorney for Karmelo Anthony, right? Caucasian Mike Howard. And then he's working with another Caucasian on the defense team, right? By the name of Toby. Toby is friends with and used to work in the same office as the prosecutor for the state. Let me ask you a question, Lon. Do you really believe that an attorney for Karmelo Anthony, black boy on trial for his life,
Yeah.
has worked for years with the prosecutor prosecuting his client? Look at this, Loon. The man prosecuting your client is your friend.
Yeah.
And you mean to tell me they wasn't sharing notes? You mean to tell me there wasn't a game plan? You mean to tell me that this wasn't a setup for the beginning? First of all, if I'm talking to Mike Howard, the lead attorney for Karmelo,
Yeah.
why was Toby
Y'all like the video, subscribe to the
an
channel.
additional defense attorney on Karmelo's case if he's friends with the prosecution?
Right.
That is a conflict of interest. And I personally believe the reason Toby was put on Karmelo's defense was to feed the strategy to the prosecutor. And then we find out later that
Yeah.
the prosecutor and the judge and Daddy Metcalf are all friends. Complete conflict of interest
That's
through the
crazy,
whole
ain't it?
case. The judge, if that is found to be true, if what is alleged is found to be true, that judge need to be snatched off the bench. But it don't even matter no more, Loon. You know why?
He finna
He's retiring
retire.
anyway.
Right.
Carmelo's case might be the last case of his career.
course
So he
it
just
is.
wanted to
He
lynch
went out
one
with a
more
bang.
ninja before he goes
I've
into
been
retirement.
told y'all
Okay,
that.
what do you say to people who say just the way that you just reversed the roles and you gave that scenario in which I agree with? what do you say with people who reverse the roles the other way, saying that Metcalf is in a situation Karmelo is in? So you would want him to get life, but would you want Austin to get life? If Karmelo died, would you want Austin to get life?
It would depend on
even if the system said he wouldn't. Would Dr. Umar Johnson be using his platform to say that little boy should get life for what he done that night?
One thing about us as African people, no matter how much hell we've caught in this world and in this country, we are inherently a just people. If those two black football players bully.
Listen, man, I got it. Look, this man said, well, they hired the guy, so blame the newly rich parents. I'm trying to figure out, how are they newly rich when they been staying in mansions? He's been going to private school. He don't go to regular school. Did you see his uniform? He goes to private school. You fool. He plays football against other private schools. Austin them went to private school. This wasn't no regular high school. Did you see the size of their football stadium and their bleachers at the high school? Come on, man. Y'all so fucking crazy. What is you talking about, dude? His newly rich parents, them folk been rich. Did you see the house that he was standing in front of on his Instagram? That's where he stay at. Them folk had a 3-car garage. Not a 2 or 1. Them folk been staying in the suburbs. So what is you talking about they newly rich? The dad was one of the top sellers at Mercedes-Benz. He lost his job because the white boys was coming up there to Mercedes-Benz and they was acting like they wanted to buy cars, but every time they get back there in the finance room, they bring up Carmelo Anthony's case around all the employees and all the clients, and they blaming it on him. The owner of the car dealership instantly had to let him go because they were interrupting his money. You know what I'm saying? Them folk been living good. Come on now. Don't know. They're not gonna have low income public schools playing fucking private schools. Private schools play private schools. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, think about it. Some of y'all stupid as hell in the comments. Yeah, let's get back into the video. But I had to just stop and say that, like, what are you thinking, man? This man literally said it's his newly rich parent. Bro, these folks been rich. Check out his Instagram. Check out his Facebook. It's public. That man been living in a mansion. He's a privileged kid. Both of them were privileged kids. Come on now. Crazy. You better analyze it. This is Blockstar Analytics. We analyze shit. You better analyze this shit or you're going to get kicked out.
And try to gang stalk a smaller white football player.
Y'all like the
and that
video,
smaller white
subscribe
football player,
to the
out
channel.
of self-defense, pulled out a knife. And that larger black football player bent down and grabbed him. And in so doing, stabbed himself because the blade was only 3.5 inches. He probably didn't even see it. Do I send that white boy to jail for the rest of his life? I do not. I do not.
So Dr. Umar
Can
Johnson,
Dr. Umar acquit a white boy
Right.
of murder and self-defense?
Yes.
Absolutely, I can if the facts show that.
Alrighty, now let's get into this next junk. Where is it at? The news. Okay. Boom.
This verdict sends a clear message. Violence like this won't be tolerated in our Collin County community, and we remain committed to protecting our schools and standing with victims and their families.
You do not have rights to self-defense. Your life does not matter in 2026.
It's a new era, real live lynching.
Extremely raw emotion surrounding the murder trial of Karmelo Anthony, the 19-year-old North Texas man who fatally stabbed 17-year-old Austin Metcalf during a physical confrontation at a high school track meet. Anthony's lawyers and supporters called his action self-defense. A jury with no African-American representation saw it differently, finding the teen guilty and sentencing him to 35 years in prison. Critics allege racism played a role, contending Anthony did not receive fair treatment.
If a white boy would have said that they were afraid of a black boy, something tells me that that jury that didn't have any black people on it, they would have believed him.
Panel, prosecutors and the victim's family say that the facts speak for themselves. That's Anthony reacted with unwarranted deadly force instead of retreating. This has been a topic of discussion here in this newsroom for quite a while. But Paul, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, so unfortunately, first of all, my sympathies go out to both families. It's terrible that these two young men are being impacted. One, however, is dead, and dead is dead. The fact that this occurred in a controlled environment, it was at a track meet. There was not immediate risk to the murderer's wife in that exact moment in time. There were people all over the place. He could have gotten help. And so reacting with a deadly weapon inside of a controlled environment did not meet the standard of self-defense, according to the jurors. And I think what happened was the law was applied. Now everyone's applying their own personal prejudices and thoughts to this on both sides, and it's pretty horrifying on both sides what's being said. And at the end of the day, it should be just a steady application of the law.
Charles.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I agree with Paul, and I think, you know, I know this argument is being made that there were no African Americans on the jury. And Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a challenge you can file if you feel that the jurors are removed because of racial reasons. Correct?
Yeah, no, I'm going to talk about that.
Okay, yeah, and so, and from my understanding, that didn't happen. So you would think that like his attorneys would at least do that, or move forward. That his family. I know that they're somewhat making that argument, but from what I read, both attorneys were kind of saying this wasn't as racial as it was all these other issues, and kind of being racialized online more so than anything. And so I wish all these other folks like, you know, Jasmine Crockett and others on the right and the left, because I've seen some on the right commenting, we just stay out of it because they're not really involved in the process. They did not see everything that the jurors saw, and they just don't have the answers.
April, what's your thoughts on that?
So I just want to say that it is a tragedy when young people either choose to commit acts that land them in prison, or they end up inside of a casket. Both families lose here, and it's really, really sad to see, but at the end of the day, the elements for self-defense here just are not there. You had every ability and opportunity to walk away, and actually he participated in getting this guy riled up. Touch me and see what happens. And what I read on the transcripts is that it was said over 4 times.
Let me get your legal analysis on this, Chris.
And so in the case versus Batson versus Kentucky is the case that says that every criminal defendant is entitled to a jury that's made up of people of their own race. And a prosecutor cannot, or now a defense attorney cannot strike people based on their race. And so if that happens, if there's an African-American defendant and you strike, and a prosecutor strikes all of the African-Americans off the jury, they have to then, when the defense objects, they have to then come up with race-neutral reasons for having struck those African-Americans off the jury. My understanding is the prosecutor did that in this case, has race-neutral reasons for having struck the African-Americans who were on the panel off that panel. It now go to the Court of Appeals on appeal, and the Court of Appeals will examine those race-neutral reasons and determine if they were proper for that. With respect to the self-defense arguments,
for the love.
Everyone has an opinion.
Don't forget to like the video and
Monday
subscribe
Morning
to the
Quarterback, whether or not this was a proper application of self-defense. A jury heard the evidence, all of it, and heard the defense arguments for self-defense, and that jury who heard all of the evidence said self-defense did not apply here. And that's really what we expect, what we ask juries to do. the hardest thing we ask any citizen to do is sit in judgment of another human being.
And this trial moved really quick.
Really quick.
Yeah.
And in 20 minutes, they said that this young man deserved 35 years in prison. And that was one of the fastest verdicts I've ever seen in punishment.
Yeah, at least in Texas for sure.
Yeah.
Chow?
Well, I'm looking at not just the punishment, but I'm looking at the prevention piece. And there are a lot of questions here. Why wasn't a black juror admitted into this case? What are we doing in the schools about conflict resolution? What are we teaching boys about how to work out things? Why was there a weapon inside? That's a policy issue, right? So there are a lot of questions around what is it about a system, a criminal justice system, that we have these issues that Chris talks about. So we need to look on a broader approach about the prevention of these things so that this doesn't happen to other boys in other schools within our communities.
Yeah, this one was definitely looked at in the court of public opinion really widely this time, right? So up next, they say what gets measured gets fixed. And the latest test results are telling a positive tale.
So yeah, that was the news station out there in Texas, right? And I'd say that the only person I really agreed with was the last person. I mean, she was neutral, but at the same time, she asked those questions that needed to be asked about this case, you know what I'm saying, about Karmelo, about Austin, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's not forget him. He lost his life, you know what I'm saying? And that's bad, you know. That's something I feel bad about. But at the same time, we want to acknowledge him, you know what I'm saying? Just like we acknowledge Karmelo Anthony. This next one, we got Stephen A. King. He talking with Laura Coates, one of the top defense attorneys, and she's chiming in on the situation. And we want to see what she got to say, because we gonna chime in on the situation too. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into it and let's see what she got to say, y'all.
Welcome to the special edition of Straight Shooter with yours truly, Stephen A. Obviously, last week I made a lot of noise because of the position that I took talking about Karmelo Anthony.
Thank God for the
teenager that was convicted
Don't forget
of
to like the
first-degree
video,
murder.
subscribe to the channel.
Clearly, a lot of people are misconstruing what I said.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with the 35 years. I don't think that was the right call.
Okay.
And I'm certainly not happy with the makeup of the jury, who did not have one African American on it. But nevertheless, a killing took place, and you knew as a result of that, he was going to have to pay some stiff consequences.
Yeah.
But rather than get into all of that myself, what better way to handle this than bringing on a legal mind who's a brilliant legal mind, but also brilliant at hosting a television show, because she hosts her own show on CNN every weeknight at 11 p.m. I'm talking about the one and only Laura
There we
Coates,
go.
who's
There
here
we
with me
go.
right now.
Free
Laura,
Karmelo.
good afternoon. Good afternoon. How you doing?
Great. I'm glad to see you. Thank you for having me. This is so important.
There we
Thank
go.
you.
Yes,
Keep
it
the
is.
love
Break
coming.
it down.
Y'all
It's
like the
one
video.
thing for him to be spending
Subscribe
time,
to the
Karmelo
channel.
Anthony, that is, this teenager that was
We're
convicted,
trying to get to
be scheduled
200.
to serve time in prison. It's another thing entirely for it to be a 35-year sentence, particularly considering the fact that he's a first-time offender and it wasn't judged by a jury of his peers per se. Not that it has to be African Americans on the jury, but one would surmise that when you say a jury of your peers is the one that's judging you, it would consist of at least some African Americans. But that was not the case. What was your initial reaction upon learning the verdict for Karmelo Anthony?
This case has been and remains really tragic to think about two teenagers who should, at the end of that day, have gone home to tell their parents how they performed at the track meet. That's all this should have been. There should never have been what transpired. And to think that we are here with both families experiencing a kind of loss that they will never be able to recover truly from. One having lost their son entirely, to death, killing, the other who will now spend more than the entirety of the life he's lived right now in prison yet again. My initial reaction to this was, frankly, the word foreseeable. It was foreseeable that a jury would likely convict of some charge, whether it was one, the murder charge, or a manslaughter conviction. It was likely, given the fact that the self-defense that had been argued by the defense team did not seemingly answer the biggest questions for this jury, which goes back to, why did he have a particular weapon that day? Why did he feel that he had to use it that day? And was there an alternative way that he could have conducted himself to protect his own safety and otherwise? And the jury composition in this case, I think, is so important because no matter what you think about whether his actions were justified or not, the reason we have a jury system in this country that is premised on one's peers, not, as you said, required to be your same race, required to be your same gender, required to be your same age bracket, required to be parents, nothing like that. But a jury of people who are going to have an open mind towards the facts as they come in, the evidence as presented, and with an insight into the possibility of being able to put oneself in their shoes. That's what we premise our system on. And to have excluded any jurors who were of color based on the reasons that we were given by the prosecution, which was that one did not believe that they could have been objective. Another said that they were an educator and they didn't want to have an educator on the jury because there may have been a kind of biased grace given to high school students. Another, for whatever reason,
don't forget
it gave me pause immediately of whether there was going to be an objectivity in the deliberation process. 35 years in particular, Stephen A., is interesting because normally when we have a sentence in the country, it is based on a kind of imagine a chart.
They gonna make sure
a chart that has corresponding years and months to the types of crimes you've been convicted of in the past,
the
behavior you've done in this particular instance. And we use that to align what might be in line with what's fair generally. Fair not meaning an eye for an eye, but fair in the sense of what have we done before? Is it in line with what we do in a situation like this? Because remember, we're a common law state and we're a common law country, which means we use what we have done in the past as guidance to what we do in the future.
Okay.
And so this jury was able to actually give their own sentence, which doesn't happen across the country, but in Texas it did. And the reason this is so particular is because there have been other cases that have been similarly situated cases, not precise, where there had been less time given when there had been an instance like this.
That's one of the things I brought up, the case of Case and Allison. I believe that was the name, Case and Allison. It was 2022, and it was similar. I don't know all the specifics of the case, but it was similar. It was deemed similar, but nevertheless, that individual was charged with negligent criminal homicide as opposed to first-degree murder. And the difference is, whereas Karmelo Anthony was expecting to hear a sentence anywhere, the sentence could be anywhere from 5 years to life. In the case of criminal negligent homicide, well, that carries a 2 to 20 year sentence. And one was wondering, how come that wasn't accorded to Karmelo Anthony? Do we know the reasons behind that compared to a Case and Allison?
The discretion of the prosecutors reigns supreme. They have within their disposal the ability to decide whether or not they want to present certain charges or not. They gave this jury more than one option. They had the murder. They also had manslaughter. Manslaughter, think about these two distinctions. You think about murder, normally it's either premeditated, it's intentional, it's an intentional killing. You think about manslaughter, it's the idea of you acted in a certain way that had a reckless or different disregard for the life of another person that resulted in a death. So they had those two available to them. The judge is within that judge's disposal to be able to allow the jury to decide either of those things. This jury said the higher charge was the appropriate one. Now, what could have turned the page for them? would have been a presentation of what they were calling passion, sudden passion.
Sudden
Normally that phrase is used for someone who, like, you walk in on your wife and she's sleeping with your best friend and you lose your mind.
Whoa.
That's the heat of passion crime.
Whoa,
Think about
whoa. You walk in on your wife and she's cheating with your best friend. Why did she have to use that as an example? What? I thought we were talking about Karmelo. This woman is crazy, y'all. She said, you walk in on your wife and she's cheating on you with your best friend. Whoa, where did that come from? I don't know. This is crazy.
This was, they were trying to present it as the heat of passion, the sudden passion, as in self-defense. That the circumstances were such that the tension was so thick that this person...
She's saying that could be self-defense because of the connection with you and your wife. Like if you were to kill her and your best friend, because of the connection y'all got, they would give you self-defense. They would allow you, because y'all married, to get self-defense because of the heat of the moment and the passion that you most likely have for your significant other, right? So that's what she was saying. Okay, I'm sure, like, walking in on your best friend. Golly, hold on, girl.
kill or be killed. That did not ring true for whatever reason to this particular
Y'all like
jury.
the video,
and again,
subscribe to the channel.
It's also about the defense, the strategy that you use in the defense. What did you present to this jury that would have made them believe that self-defense, but lethal self-defense? Now, another thing I want to point out this evening, a lot of people have pointed out about the commentary surrounding the size of the weapon and thought, well, what does that have to do with anything? Well, normally if you were to charge a case, the length of the actual weapon being used, type of weapon being used is so important because it can lend itself to proof of either premeditation or intentionality. If, for example, you're in the street and you pull out tweezers, you grab whatever you can and you hit someone with the tweezers, no one thinking that I plan to bring tweezers to commit a crime. If I bring a machete, I've got a whole different ball game here. So he was not charged with a crime about the type of weapon. It was all premised on the idea of the self-defense or not. And this jury did not buy it.
Well, listen, we're talking to Laura Coates right here with Straight Shooter with Stephen A. You know, when you talk about sudden passion, basically meaning he acted directly out of provocation and was overwhelmed by strong emotions such as fear, shock, or anger. That's really what they're talking about when they're talking about sudden passion, as you articulated. I'm wondering whether or not that was the right course of action for the defense to take. What do we believe? What do we think about the defense that was presented on behalf of Karmelo Anthony, and whether or not that clearly it didn't suffice because he was convicted of first-degree murder? But are there any legitimate questions out there from spectators, from folks that were covering the trial, that bring into question whether or not he had actually received a viable defense in all of this?
On the appeal, they're going to look at whether he had effective assistance of counsel. That's going to be almost standard. And part of that will be about the type of defense, but not just the strategy, but whether it was put on in a way that was in line with the law, with the facts, and represented him fully and zealously as an advocate. It can't be ineffective assistance if you got a conviction alone. It's got to be something more. But on that idea of strategy, what I've heard people talk about with this case and in reading about what transpired, because there was a gag order in place, no cameras were allowed, which I have to say probably would have done a lot to have a camera in that courtroom for people to actually watch justice in action. Even though he was 17 at the time, he's now 19 years old. It's not a minor issue any longer.
But
the idea of when you present a defense, the strategy has to be that this particular defendant had no other choice but to defend with physical action, meaning you met the level of force that you were confronted with the requisite level of force needed to repel that force. People often think about this in terms of, say, an we think to ourselves, they make split-second decisions. The Supreme Court allows them to make split-second decisions, and we defer to what a reasonable officer similarly situated in a similar circumstance would have done. In this case, they tried to apply a similar split-second strategy decision to say they had a split-second that you were going to kill or be killed. That you were going to kill or be killed. If they show you can walk away from this. If they could show that there was an instant the person could have said, never mind, I'm going to leave the tent, and my ego is bruised, I'm annoyed, but I could safely retreat.
Y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel.
If they could show that was a possibility and that the person acted nonetheless, they cannot make out the case for self-defense to overcome the presentation.
Y'all come on back in, subscribe to the channel, like the video, so y'all can be able to keep track.
You just brought that up. I certainly was going to bring that up.
Because you might get kicked out of the live sometimes. You got to be able to get back.
You're at the mercy of the judge, and the lawyers and their interpretation of what transpired. You don't have a public setting that allows you to deduce what truly transpired, which to me contributes to those with, thoughts about how, listen, black folks, the legal system. Let's be real about it.
Amen. Streetways.
Exactly feel like it's ever going to operate.
Everything started from blackness.
3.7 GPA, captain of the football and the track team. Working a part-time. Working an after-school job at the Foot Locker. Had no criminal record whatsoever. This is his first offense. I can understand, the angst and the disgust on the part of supporters of Karmelo Anthony, but then in the same breath, I'm thinking about the father of Mr. Whose son was killed. His son ain't never coming back. His son is dead. So it's a hard position to take, and I think cameras in that courtroom would have helped, like you said. It was the judge justified in making that kind of decision, or was it completely at the discretion of the judge, and then not a damn thing we could do about it?
The damn thing you could do about it. What the judge has discretion. It's not mandated by law to have those cameras in the courtroom. Therefore, it is the discretion. And I think the judge thought, and I'm giving grace here because I don't know the mindset of the judge, but many judges I speak to, when they're asked about whether to have a camera in the courtroom or not, and they have the discretion, they will say they try to avoid what they believe would be a spectacle of people being in the courtroom or trying to have the court of public opinion infiltrate the justice system, and they're trying to prevent a circus. Now, what happens?
Yeah, and all this shit bogus. They ain't trying to prevent no damn circus. Yeah, they still trying for sure. Saying Guardian. They're trying their asses off. Man, yeah. We can for sure thank President Trump.
When you've got a very, very impassioned court of public opinion who wants desperately to understand what happened, the absence of transparency and daylight into that, it only creates further mistrust. And the pacing of the trial, because we're very used to in our criminal justice system hearing about somebody committing a crime in 2022, being charged a year later, having a trial after that, not within the last year, it all coming to fruition and being done.
And not only that, Laura, excuse me for interjecting, not only that, Laura, how about the verdict coming down, the guilty verdict, and then within hours he gets sentenced to 35 years. They didn't even wait a day before sentencing him to 35 years.
It makes you think of that phrase, judge, jury, and executioner. Although, obviously, he is not eligible for the death penalty. He was 17 at the time. They did not pursue capital punishment in this case. But this all fuels that mistrust that is all
Y'all like
already
the video,
very much
subscribe
there.
to the
now,
channel.
In the courtroom, they did not try to address the racial issues.
Subscribe
It was
to
the
the channel
quintessential
right
element in the room.
now.
We know that a history in America, one of the reasons you have what's called the Batson case, which is the Supreme Court case, essentially says you cannot use race as a reason to strike a juror
like the video
is
too.
because there had been historical
Don't forget that.
research and evidence presented
Right there at
to
the
the
top.
Supreme Court and others to suggest that there was a higher likelihood of either conviction or harsher sentences, depending upon the race of the victim compared to the race of the particular defendant. And that was calculated into how they looked at the need to have diverse, at least not having diversity or racial diversity or race-based or gender or religion otherwise be a reason to strike somebody.
I go live every
and so
single
I think
day.
A camera in the courtroom, it wouldn't have looked at the jury, you wouldn't have seen who they were. It likely would not have changed the outcome of this case. But what it would have done is it would allow people to understand fully what was happening inside of that courtroom, to be able to fully understand for themselves what the basis for appeal should have been, and the decision-making process of a jury and having that sentence. I, for one, want more cameras in the courtroom. I've been a prosecutor. I have had to see the underbelly of our justice system. And one of the things, as you mentioned, his background, his schooling, his job, all the things, is Stephen A. I can count on one hand in all the cases I've prosecuted, even seen, a monster. These aren't monsters we're talking about as defendants. We're talking about people who make a choice in a moment that they desperately wish they could get back. And because we know that people oftentimes, the prison systems, you've got some monsters in them. You've got the Hannibal Lecters, so to speak. But overwhelmingly, you have people who took and chose a course of action that resulted in a consequence they did not foresee.
Right.
And have to be punished and held to account for it. And that's why we've got all these factors that are considered by a judge or a jury of whether to sentence them by throwing the book at them or otherwise.
Laura, what do we say? Just a couple of questions, a few more questions.
Don't talk about the most.
And I really thank you for your time. You know, I'm thinking about it, and it's 19 as the trial was going on, but he was 17 when the crime was committed.
Crazy crabs.
Just the mere
I
thought
bet
of him
you
being
got
tried as an
crabs.
adult. Some people have a problem.
Get up out
with
my
that.
chat
Is
with
that
that.
a legitimate beef?
It's a beef that one should take up with the policies of the state. That is a legitimate discussion to have all across this country. That somebody who's not able to vote would be able to be tried as an adult. Somebody who's a year from driver's license. Somebody who, look at any parent out there who's trying to get insurance on their car, right? With a child, a son. They will tell you that it is baked into the cake of our society and views towards a particular age, particularly of boys as well, where we say this person's not cognitively formed enough, decision-wise enough to be to get the benefit of responsibility, and yet being tried as an adult is one that one should think about very clearly in our society. But that was the standing policy and the ability in this state, and they chose to.
We gotta let them know.
Your thoughts?
Crazy
about
crab.
those supporters out there, primarily black.
You got crabs. I ain't gonna talk about your mom.
Of Karmelo Anthony feeling like he was railroaded.
We don't even do that.
And they feel like it's
I'm just gonna talk about you, since you want to come in my chat
to those folks right now?
and fuck with my
just
people.
As a former prosecutor, but as a black woman who's
Crazy crabs got crabs, y'all.
television show on CNN every weeknight. What do you say?
Everybody say crazy crab got crabs.
I'll tell you what I say to them as a mother, because that's who actually is hosting that show. This black woman, a mother of a son, of a daughter. I look at this and I say, we have to be very careful in two ways. One, careful that we do not take for granted that the pursuit of justice leads to justice. That has to be an act of intentionality every single day. The second part of it is that there are two families that are suffering. Two families that are suffering, which is not unlike most cases we will see across this country. And I would be very, very intentional about the statements that are made to vilify not only the human who is the defendant, the human that is the victim of the actual stabbing, the humans that are the parents, and the humans that are the parents of both of those young men. not only Carmelo Anthony, but also Austin Metcalf and his twin brother who watched.
Yeah.
And so I think people oftentimes want to use people's real stories as avatars for causes that they otherwise want to pursue. But when you forget about the human aspect of it, you will ultimately fail in understanding what has actually transpired. And I would just finally say that if you have a problem, and I understand the problem people have, if you have a problem with not having cameras in the courtroom, with not having judges on benches that will perhaps look at, if they are elected judges, and do an upward or downward departure from what a jury has found. If you have a problem with somebody being tried as an adult at the age of 17, if you have a problem with the way that you believe race is used in this country, and it is,
if you got a problem with
in
it,
ways that are not intended by what society
for the
believes
haters
is right,
in the chat,
then you do have some power in your feet and in the ballot box.
Thanks
and
for
you
the
do
love,
have some
y'all.
power in not sitting on the sidelines complaining into your latte. You can do something about it. And the number one way to do something about it is to make sure the people who represent those who are in positions of power and authority, and those who are vulnerable and can be victimized by a system, that if you want to be a champion for something, be a champion for changing
the haters,
the system,
they be the
not the
reason you
champion for
make it.
complaining about
You know
it
what I'm
without
saying?
more.
Any issue, two more questions for you before I let you get on out of here. Any issue with either the father, Austin Metcalf's father, Jeff, and how he's handled this, or the parents of Carmelo Anthony? Any issue at all in your estimation? Based on what you've heard in the aftermath of the verdict, yes.
You know, when I have watched the interviews of both sets of parents, my heart absolutely breaks, because they will be judged. They are being judged. Their parenting being judged. The choice of their children on full display. Both sides being raked over the coals for what people.
Yeah, and see, that's what I was saying. You know what I'm saying? I was saying, I don't judge the kids. You know what I'm saying? Even though, you know, Austin, he gone, I don't judge the kids. I judge the parents. And I said, us as parents, we got to be harder on our kids. We can't let them slide nowadays because the way technology has taken over. And all my military folks out there know about the brainwashing that the government does through television. You know what I'm saying? Shit that you see at the military camps with the brainwashing test and all of that type shit to see if they can change a motherfucker's thinking, the way of their thinking, by putting a certain amount of pictures, certain kind of images in front of them and just flashing them for hours. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the same way our kids is on these games. They putting the images and it's flashing in front of them for hours. The flash is what get it. You know what I'm saying? So I've been saying that we got to be harder on the kids for sure, because it's too many kids. It's too many kids that's killing each other and they dying. And man, it wasn't like that when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm still a little young, but you know, I'm 35. It's like nowadays the kids, like when I was 7, 8, 9, 10, man, I made honor roll. I made principal's list. It was easy, but I love going to school. Nowadays, I couldn't think of holding a gun. Nowadays, kids in elementary thinking about holding guns, thinking about hurting people. You know what I'm saying? Hurting their peers. It's crazy. The kids horrible nowadays. So we got to just be harder on them so they can be something when they grow up. You know what I'm saying? our next generations got to be something. I mean, I know most of them going down the shit, but the ones that's not, we got to hold on to them. We got to push them. Even if we ain't got kids, when we see certain kids in our neighborhood doing an outstanding job, we see the young boy in the neighborhood taking out all the older women and older men trash to the street on trash day. We got to walk over there, give them a $20 bill, give them a $10 bill and say, hey, keep on doing that. That was good. Keep on doing that. We got to encourage them when they do good, you know what I'm saying? And be harder on them when they do bad, because I know our generation is not as hard on our kids. But I'm hard on mine, you know. Man, get in order. Respect your mom. Yeah, don't just respect me. Don't just get quiet when dad come home. No, You better be quiet when dad not at home. When mama need to get some rest. You know what I'm saying? We got to be hard on our kids, though, y'all. But yeah, my kids, they outstanding. They make nothing but principles lists right now. And I'm trying to keep them at principles list. And I'm like, don't go down the honor roll like dad was. Y'all from dad, so y'all can be smarter than dad. God damn it. Now we out here in the suburbs. Dad that got us out here in the suburbs off the 9 to 5. And now it's time for them to elevate their thinking even more, because they got better schooling. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to be even harder on them. Yeah, respect your peers. You can't say this, you can't say that. Some certain things you can't say. That's disrespectful. This is disrespectful. That is, I teach them what is disrespectful so they know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's how we all gotta be, y'all. Okay, let's get into this next clip. This next clip is, yeah, this is from the witnesses that actually went to the school, filled out whatever they had to fill out to be able to see the video. I guess a questionnaire or some shit like that. Yeah, they fill it out, and then they get to see the video. But it asks them, do they want to see the minute or 2 minutes where the altercation took place, or do they want to see the full 11 minutes where it goes back, you know what I'm saying, I guess 8 to 10 minutes before the altercation happened. And one of the witnesses, she actually did the whole 11 minutes. But let me play this for y'all.
But he never killed that child. He fell.
Yes.
He fell on him. And the knife was, he had the knife in his hand.
Well, it wasn't a knife.
What was it?
It was a tool that they tighten up their track cleats with.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, so he never bought a knife.
Yeah, that's why I've always said he was innocent.
So the footage from the footage that you saw was Austin Metcalf
in the dust. This is the question that I have, though. Why wasn't that video presented in court? And is it the true video? Because again, it's starkly different from the testimony given in the trial. Karmelo Anthony flew down those bleachers.
All right, what's up with it, y'all? So look, I'm back again with another video right now. Listen, I told y'all if y'all
want to I told y'all that.
Just to hit the
he
like
was back again. That man said the video was different. Karmelo Anthony flew down the stairs. He said they didn't say none of that was said in anybody's testimony. He flew down the stairs after the tussle.
Now, me personally,
6
I believe that this
guys
video will come out, and I think a lot
came
of
up approaching him.
thoughts may
I
change.
said, man,
we don't
this
know
shit
until
is
it comes
crazy.
out. But
Hey, we finna get back
basically, it's a
into it.
lady
We finna get back into that
who's saying it's an older white lady.
nitty-gritty.
She's saying that
Yeah. We finna
he's
break it
innocent. She
down.
had a lot of different
Karmelo.
things to say
Hey,
about this
shout
whole
out my
situation.
nigga
Now,
Karmelo.
if the things that she's saying is
Free
true or not,
Karmelo.
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
But
I gotta
I don't
say it
see
like
what
my
she would
chat be
gain
saying
from
it.
lying
Free
about this whole
Karmelo.
situation.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
it was short clips floating around, but I think I found something that's a little bit longer.
Y'all like the video,
Now,
subscribe
people are
to the
saying
channel.
that she was in the courtroom.
You know what
She
I'm
seen the
saying?
video. That don't make sense because the people in the courtroom basically said what they seen too.
We just
and
gotta stick
this is
together,
not what
man.
she's saying.
You
So
know
I'm
what
thinking that
saying?
she seen the video that was at
We gotta
at
stick
the school
together.
that day. That a lot of people seen. Now,
Somebody
after
said,
she speaks, I got more people
look,
speaking.
look. Somebody said, I said, we got to stick together, man. Somebody said in the chat, one of my biggest haters said, you sound dumb. You don't even know how to talk proper. And this is what I damn near said to him. Don't you know I'm from Memphis? Nigga, I'm from Memphis, nigga. Nigga, I'm from down south. Yeah. You know where Finesse 2 Times from? Have you ever heard of Finesse 2 Times? Have you ever heard of him? Have you ever heard him talk? Okay, now listen to me and listen to Finesse 2 Times. Okay? If I sounded hood, like I was from the Memphis hood, I sound more like Finesse 2 Times. But I still got slang, but I know how to talk proper, but I choose to talk how I talk because this is me. And I gotta be honest with my chat about who I am, right? But you know, haters gonna hate and ballers gonna ball. You know what I'm saying? And me and my chat gonna ball on all of you haters. And we appreciate y'all support. Cause y'all get us a lot of likes. Y'all get us a lot of comments. You know what I'm saying? And y'all get us subs for sure. Yeah, we just growing on y'all haters. It's starting to become more chat than haters.
Actually seen the video as well too because they requested to see the video. So I'm gonna let the older woman speak and then we're gonna watch the other ones at the end. So this is what she had to say right here.
But he never killed that child. He fell.
Yes.
He fell on him. And the knife he had the knife in his hand.
Well, it wasn't a knife.
What was it?
It was a tool that they tighten up their track cleats with.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, so he never bought a knife.
Yeah.
So that came out in the courtroom yesterday. That
it never was a knife.
You don't want to sit down?
Richard, can I hear my law?
Yes.
Let me just talk.
Yeah, because I don't want you to fall.
Well, I'm not going to fall. I'm standing. I'm not going to fall. I'm not moving. I've got my legs up.
She say my legs still. Say my legs work fine.
My legs are, well, they don't, but if I can sit down, I'll be happy.
Yes.
But anyhow, that's what I'm here for, and I was hoping the card is not out yet.
Right. It's probably going to get out around 6 o'clock.
That's what I thought. That's what they said, and we've got another hour. And I just want to, I'm not going to. What's your name? Kathy Taylor.
Thank y'all so much. And sir, thank you so much. Very much so. We thank y'all for standing and just.
He's not. Thank you. And, okay, so it was the cleat. And he had that in his hand.
Yeah, the tool is like a little tool like this, like the screwdriver.
Like the video, subscribe to the channel.
Completely, because you're allowed to have that tool as a track athlete to tighten up your cleats.
Yeah. Okay, and he had it in his hand. And the other kid fell on I do too, but
well, I can say fell on it. But if we're being completely honest, with four guys like wailing on you, and they're overpowering, you know.
I saw him. I saw him. No, Diddy, watch out.
You want it.
You tell me. I saw the other kid trip. You the one who. That's why I said he was innocent.
Gotcha.
That's why I've always said he was innocent.
So the footage from the footage that you saw was Austin Metcalf actually falling on the object. Now, at what point of the video, like how long into the video before he actually fell on it?
He went over there to confront him.
Exactly.
He pulled out that thing to protect himself, and the other kid, the white kid.
Do you mind if I record?
Okay, now that you've seen what she had to say, I want to know y'all honest thoughts and opinions. Does it change your perspective on things? Do you feel like she's telling the truth, or do you think like you know, when she got recorded, she changed how she felt? Now, this woman says she's been thinking this from the beginning, and I don't see her lying, but you know, things will come out. Now, this is the other group of people who are advocating for him. So some of y'all may not feel like it may be truthful. I'm not gonna take nobody account as a lie or the truth right now. I'm gonna go ahead and run this, and I want to know your thoughts and opinions on this as well.
What we also have with us is people who actually saw the controversial video of Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony, and they're going to speak to that. They're going to speak to exactly what they saw when they introduced their public information request. And I think that you're not going to be surprised by what they saw, but we want to make sure that we get this information out to the public.
So that's what they had to fill out at the school, a public information request. And then the school would allow them to see the video, the surveillance video of the altercation, whether they wanted to see just 2 minutes or I believe 11 minutes of it.
We'll start with T. Sturdy.
My name is actually Tony Sturdivant. Again, I was one of the ones that saw the video. It's kind of bewildering that it doesn't align with the testimony that was presented. What I saw in the video was four. Voice up. What I saw in the video was actually more than 4 kids. There were 6 kids. Can you hold it? We can hold it. Okay. Hold it. Yeah. There were actually 6 kids that walked up in the stadium. 2 splintered off. 4 went directly to Karmelo Anthony. Okay. And there was a brief conversation. You're gonna start over. All right. Start over? Yeah. That's clean. Start. Keep the voice up. Yeah, so again, my name is Tony Sturdivant. I was one of the individuals that put in a FOIA request to see the video. What I saw was starkly different from the testimony that I heard given in the trial. There were 6 kids that walked up, 2 splintered off. I guess that part of was introduced in the trial where they went to deflect the coach. The other 4 walked directly to Karmelo Anthony. There was a brief conversation, I say maybe 20, 30 seconds, and from there, a scuffle ensued. It didn't last long. Karmelo backed out the back of the canopy. He looked one way, looked to the left, and flew down those bleachers. Now, this is the video that was presented to us. This is the questions that I have, though. Why wasn't that video presented in court? And is it the true video? Because, again, it's starkly different from the testimony given in the trial. Karmelo Anthony flew down those bleachers, fell at the bottom of the bleachers, got up,
like the video,
took off. It was maybe 2 or 3 kids that you can see kind of give
on the way to
chase.
200.
But Karmelo was gone, so they weren't even going to put a finger on him and touch him. Again, there was a scuffle that ensued at the top of the bleachers, and Karmelo got it there. But I don't know why that was not brought up in court. I don't know why that was shown. I don't know if the ISD gave us a bogus ass video. I don't know, but that's what I saw.
Hello, everybody. I'm an advocate for Karmelo Anthony. My name is T. And when I went to see the video, they ask if you want to see it from either 2 minutes before the stabbing or 11 minutes before. I chose 11 minutes. From the moment she pressed play, Karmelo Anthony was already sitting up underneath that canopy. And he was sitting there for at least 8 to 9.5 minutes. You see, well, I saw a boy in a black hoodie go over to him first, and then they left out of the tent. And then you see coming across the field was another 6 boys. When they got to the bleachers, one, he went out of frame, and the other one sat at the bottom. But the remaining 4, they went directly to Karmelo Anthony. And like T said before, it was a brief conversation, and then all you see is commotion. And we know from the interviews that Hunter did, we know that Hunter was, in fact, up underneath that tent. The next thing you see, you can see Karmelo in the midst of them assaulting him. You can see Karmelo trying to back out, but he gets pulled back forward. The next thing you see is Karmelo, he comes shooting out the back, but he's still not standing. And he had to like kind of crab crawl backwards, and he had to like jerk away from them because they still had a hold of his hoodie. He goes up a couple bleachers and he's looking around for which way to go. He runs diagonally down the bleachers and then he falls. At the time of him falling, that's when I noticed another 3 boys coming down the bleachers chasing after him. But once Karmelo got up, he took off. You didn't see him for the rest of the video. At no point in that video do you see Hunter holding his brother. At no point in that video do you see those boys ever going back to the tent and sitting down. That was all a lie. And I also have questions. I don't know how the defense did not play that video, because when you see that video, it was self-defense.
The defense didn't play that video because the judge struck that video. He struck that video for the jury not to see it. He didn't want the jury to see it. He said that it would interfere with them being able to come up with a verdict. So he struck the video. But that's crazy. She said all the stuff he said about him holding his brother and stuff, all that was a lie because he never held his brother. He went chasing after Karmelo with the other 2 guys. Austin got ready to chase after him, but noticed he was stabbed. You know what I'm saying? So he fell on the ground and he died. But that shit is crazy that this man said he held his brother crying. And everybody saying that saw the video that signed the little waiver shit that he ran after Karmelo.
Karmelo was only 5'8", 130-something pounds, and Austin and Hunter Metcalf were 6'1", 220-something pounds. So for people to say that he should have used his hands, people can die from fights from people using their hands.
Right.
And that's all I'm going to say for right now.
So I want to say that this press conference is for people who saw the video, because we want to make sure that we get that information out there. The
Y'all
other
like
thing
the video,
is that
subscribe to the channel.
we have noticed major disparities when we look up statistically the sentencing structures that Judge Roach sentences minorities under. There's at least a 75% disparity in the length of the prison sentence when the defendant is of color. And so this is a concern for us here in Collin County. I reside here, and so I am concerned as a citizen. If the law is supposed to be equal and everybody is supposed to be protected under that law, then sorry about that. That means every race of people are protected, right? And so with that being said, I'd like to thank you for giving us the opportunity to express what we saw and what we're concerned about here in Collin County.
Okay, I'm sorry. You get it right there? I'm Christopher King. I actually was a licensed attorney in Collin County several years ago, working with the city of Frisco on a certain project. But I'm Christopher King. My handle is KingCast online. Okay. I'm also a journalist, and I have a couple things for you briefly. Today, I have filed my request for all exhibits used at trial. We'll see how that turns out. I had mailed it in before with a self-addressed stamped envelope. Didn't get a response, so I figured I'd fly down here and file it in person this time. So, as to this trial, what I see as an attorney, I saw what I believe to be.
Look, this attorney, hey, he filed to see all the court documents from this case. The man said he didn't get no answer, so he flew the fuck down there and filed it in person. He said he gonna get an answer for sure. He need them court documents. You know what I'm saying? What y'all holding them for? Let them go, Collin County. Hey y'all, hey y'all, we are on Collins County ass. They gotta let them fucking documents go. Collin County gotta let them documents go. We 24/7 on their ass. I mean, they can't hide nowhere. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we is breaking it down and we getting the best of the best information. This damn lawyer said. Look, they must have looked them up. They looked them up. They saw he was black. They said, we ain't giving this nigga shit. And you know what he did? He said, oh, they gonna play like that. They ain't gonna respond. That man flew down there. Now he out there in Collin County. This man crazy.
Malpractice. I don't know why it happened. A couple of quick reference points. Number one, he allowed those students young people, not professional people, to testify as to ultimate issues of fact,
like the
such
video,
as
subscribe
was it
to
murder
the
or
show.
not? Yes. Was there provocation? Karmelo provoked him. That's not how it works. You have to make them elocute as to what Karmelo did to allegedly provoke a situation. That's how it works. And when you don't object to it in the cases in chief, you cannot come back later post hoc and then ask the judge and complain about it in a jury charge. There were also no expert witnesses produced, no use of force expert, no jury.
Free Karmelo.
Very serious questions on this case, and I don't understand it, but I don't like it, and I think this is the proverbial travesty of justice that we have just witnessed here.
Oh, that boy said. That boy said, I think this is the proverbial tragedy. This is a black guy, y'all. He an attorney and he don't play. He got some big lawyer words for that. He's saying his words so big and intelligent. This is beautiful. Everybody said, I think this is the proverbial tragedy. I'm done with him, y'all.
There needs to be an investigation. It's not right.
Yeah.
It's just not right. Yeah.
So I actually speak with them.
So what's next now?
So what's now, and this is what I stated at the beginning, what's next now is definitely a fight for justice. It's definitely a fight. They are definitely ready to file an appeal, which an appeal has officially been filed today. They're ready to move forward, Karmelo get justice and seeing him getting a fair trial. That is all that they wanted from Collin County was a fair trial. And unfortunately, and I did attend some of the proceedings, and unfortunately, it does not appear to me that they received a fair trial, that Karmelo received a fair trial. So what's next for them is supporting their son, and we as advocates support Karmelo and support the family. And they're going to continue to fight for justice, and we'll be right there on the side of them. Thank you.
All my haters is in here tonight, along with my chat. But me and my don't slap the shit out of y'all. You know what I'm saying? What's up? What's up, chat? Y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel. We got a couple of haters out here tonight. It's messing up on me,
asking
y'all.
me to drop these videos. That's why they're coming back to back to back.
Yeah,
So keep
yeah, yeah. Thank y'all.
Thank y'all. We're gonna talk in the comments, and I'll holler at y'all later on another video. All right.
Yes, Lord. Yeah, my shit was fucking up. I think YouTube be doing that to me. They be taking my chat down. Everybody be here and then they be out. When the chat shit go out. This nigga right here though. Alright, so Charleston White called Anthony Daniels. And this shit, he just flipping, flopping. He back and forth all the time.
They're gonna shoot him in the head. So I see in my prayer.
So this is what he said. So he said before he started talking about he not gonna help the young nigga and everything. And when I heard this clip, I said, damn, how the fuck, Charleston White, how the fuck would you come about it? He called Anton Daniels, and Anton Daniels sitting there like, yeah, man, for real, yeah, I have him to come in and everything like that. And I'm just sitting there listening, and it sound like he crying, but now he had to be fucking acting the whole time. Sound like crying, man. They said they was gonna kill him, man. They said they was gonna kill him, man. And all of this shit. I said, man, this nigga a clown. I'm talking about stay doing some stupid ass.
Shoot him in the head. So I see in my prayer closet, God said that's why I had to let him be guilty. They were gonna kill him. They were gonna kill him, homie.
This nigga crying.
They were gonna kill that baby. They was gonna kill him. They made declarations outside of the courtroom. And what was black people online arguing about each other?
They was outside the courtroom
8 times in
Karmelo Anthony has been sentenced to 35 years in prisons for the murder
Black people was outside the courtroom too, Charleston White.
Charleston White, someone that's working with the family closely, called into Anton.
See, that's why I can't fuck with Charleston White. The man said they was gonna kill him. He said, and where were black people fighting? Nigga, black people was outside the fucking courtroom, nigga. Like, what's wrong with you, Charleston White? You'll turn on your own people, man, for the dollar, and you ain't even got the dollar. Sitting around talking about what was black people? They was fighting each other. No, they wasn't. They was fighting for Karmelo. That's where it was. You didn't see him, Charleston White? Huh? Hold on, Charleston White. You didn't see all the black people fighting for Karmelo? I mean, they wasn't even in his city. It's black people all over the damn U.S. Daniels ass, he overseas right now. You know what I'm saying? He got a damn condo overseas. He tuning into everything over here in America. While he using his passport, he vacationing overseas, doing everything over there. You know what I'm saying? With the view in the background when he's sitting at his desk and shit. Come on, man. This shit was all around the world. Talking about where was black people. You know exactly where the fuck they was, Charleston. They were fighting for Karmelo. They was putting out there that Karmelo had been done this way and Karmelo had been done that way. They was going live like we do every night, talking about what's the new update on Karmelo case, how they been treating them, what they do, you know what I'm saying, what's the next move, all of that. Nigga, I've never seen black people so united. Goddamn it, nigga. Martin Luther King didn't even have black people that united. No, he didn't. And I know black people. I know. Y'all gonna say, Black Star? You can't say Martin Luther King didn't have black people united. I can say, black people, all y'all ass is smart. Right? So when I tell you Martin Luther King did nothing for the black people but sell them a dream and tell them to dream and show them how to dream, but never show them how to accomplish the dream. On top of that, he marched them. Listen, get hurt when I say this, but he marched them into brawls where they were beaten by cops, eaten by canines, water hosed by firemen. But guess what? Martin Luther King was right there with them, but they didn't touch Martin Luther King. So tell me, how do you lead your people in a march into a brutal beat of police officers? But the police officers, you in the front of the line, Martin Luther King, you in the front of the line, and you marching your people across this bridge, and y'all stop on the bridge, and the police officers got billy clubs and shit and canines, and they like, don't move any further or we gonna whoop y'all ass. And you start marching your people forward. I'm trying to figure out what happened to you when they start, when the polices and shit start swinging, because you never had bruises on your face. You never was beaten. Your shirt was never tore. You was always wearing a suit, Martin Luther. If you was at the front of the line, you was supposed to be the most beat. You was supposed to be the most sprayed and the most water hose. But everybody behind you, I'm talking about eyes swollen, beaten, nigga, even when they locked you up. And this is what I told people. I said, we gotta analyze this shit. I said Martin Luther King came to them folks at the White House when they had them doing this shit, and he said, look, I can't keep leading my people into these brawls. I got to stop doing this shit. They said, no, man, we're gonna give you the Nobel Peace Prize, and we want you to say that famous speech to them. You know, the one about the dream you have that's never coming true, about being treated equal and all of that nonsense. We want you to say that to him, and we gonna give you the Nobel Peace Prize. Man, look, he said the speech. They gave him the Nobel Peace Prize. Listen, y'all, I'm teaching y'all something now. He said the speech, I have a dream that one day this nation would rise up. Okay? And everybody cheered. I mean, there was so many black people out there, they was cheering. Right? And a week later, he led them to a march, and they got their ass beat again. And he wasn't touched. Right? So he said, listen, man, I'm sick of this shit. I can't take it no more. He said, I'm finna tell my people what the fuck y'all did. And you know what they said? They said, no, man, don't do it. Listen, We was finna throw you a parade in Memphis. Man, please, before you do that, just think about it. Come to the parade in Memphis. So his dumbass come to the parade, come to Memphis for the parade. They put him in the Lorraine Motel. And this is what I believe happened. Because he went outside on the balcony with 2 bodyguards. But when they took pictures of Martin Luther King, and which I don't know how they got the pictures of him being shot, when he first got shot, both of his security guards, one and one went that way. And this is what I believe happened. I believe they called his phone in the room while he was at the Lorraine Motel, because he was in Memphis. If you look it up, he was in Memphis for a parade. They was doing a parade for him. And they called him. And they said, Martin, is that you? He like, yeah. They like, is you by yourself? No, I'm in the room. Who all in the room with you? He get the name and people. They said, oh, take 2 of your bodyguards. Take Chester and Bo out on the balcony. We got some top secret news to tell you. He like, okay. Boom. Zed and Bo, they already know about the assassination attempt. They can't say nothing or else they ass gonna die, right? So he take them. They come out. They do security thing. They walk, one of them walk their way, one of them walk their way. They like, yeah, are you outside by yourself? They already got the sniper across the street. He like, yeah, I'm outside. And they killed him. They killed him because he got sick of leading us into beatings and brawls. And I'm talking about Martin Luther King. He got sick of that shit. He got sick of telling us and brainwashing us to only dream by the I have a dream speech, right? And just when he got sick of it and he wanted to get them folks up and tell us what they had been doing and how they had been using him to manipulate us, they killed him. And that's the story of Martin Luther King. But I just can't fuck with him because of how he led our people into them brawls. Tell me, when you in a brawl and you on the front line and y'all don't have nothing but y'all fist and the people across from y'all got dogs and bats. If you on the front line and everybody behind you that got beat almost to death, you should be dead, right? Because you was on the front line. So you got beat to death and stumped and trampled all over and everything. It's like they let him move to the side, then they just beat the fuck out of the people. And they beat him so good that the people that was marching with him didn't even realize Martin Luther King never got his ass beat. You know what I'm saying? I just can't do it. Now Malcolm X, that was a good brother. He was a powerful brother too. You know what I'm saying? Let's get back into this clip and hear this bogus ass Charleston White. Y'all like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Daniel show, was extremely emotional.
Yeah.
To a point where Charleston White started to cry. Listen to what he has to say.
I'm on a live stream. What's going on, big dog? Man, I'm in the club. This kid is innocent. I've been with this family since day one. You talking about the Karmelo Anthony kid? I was calling you with the dad on the phone. I want you to interview them. I never spoke on it. I've been with the family since this happened because I went against the family. I can bring him on tomorrow. You talk the dad of Karmelo Anthony? Yeah, Karmelo dad. I want you to interview the mom and dad. This kid has no blemish.
Yeah.
He's a real lamb. When we think about the lamb, he's a real lamb. The fleece is white as snow. He has no blemish. He has no blemish, homie. They wouldn't even let the fact that these two white boys, 6-something, almost 200 pounds, are trained mixed martial artists. You got one on one side. These boys are bar-hand destroyers. The one he killed broke his daddy collarbone. These kids have a reputation of serious conduct, drugs, alcohol, guns. They are terrifying.
Yeah, like that man.
That is down in the area where you was born and raised too.
I've been here. I told every black person in the beginning.
Yeah.
I won against the family. You know why?
Why?
When I looked on the press conference when that killing happened, he's standing with a bunch of civil rights activists, civil rights lawyers, not criminal. I'm
talking about the father and the son.
The black people, they don't know where to get a lawyer from. They've never been in trouble before.
Yeah.
The lawyers showed up. Why? Because the black people came with a narrative that white people hadn't put out yet, that this was about race.
Said that, and a lot of people did.
Yeah.
So this is a nuance between Karmelo
A lot of
Anthony
people said
and
that
Austin
shit.
Metcalf.
Thank y'all for the
Their
love. Thank y'all for the love.
Wasn't a race-based interaction.
Y'all like the video? Subscribe
Austin
to the
Metcalf
channel.
was just
I
a
see the
brute.
likes. Thank y'all.
You know, because Austin Metcalf had his black
Thank y'all for the
friends under
subs
the tent
too.
as well. You know what I'm saying? Austin Metcalf was
We
just
almost
a bully.
at 200
The
subs.
media made it about race.
Thank
and I'm
God.
saying we because
Thank
I
y'all
know
for the love.
myself, I knew this
I
was
love the
going to
hearts.
come down to this black and white shit when it came to court. But once the civil rights leaders stepped in, they made it about a black and white thing instead of looking at the nuance of it and saying, hey, we want this child to get the best results when it comes to his punishment. We're not trying to necessarily say he's going to get off the hook, but the defense didn't put up a great enough argument for the kid to get off. I ain't saying, I'm not even just saying just trying to get up off the hook. Judge this man fairly, man. The Casey Allen kid, white kid, stabbed somebody and got away with it, man. Basically. They gave him 2 years. 17-year-old white boy stabbed the kid in the bathroom of a school, an actual school, multiple times, and they gave him...
His facts wrong. 10 years. They gave him 10 years. That's the one that we just heard the clip on. The white kid that stabbed the Latino kid 4 times in the bathroom. We know it was 10 years that they gave him. If they wouldn't have, if the judge wouldn't have put the weapons enhancement on his charges, then he would have got 2 years, but he got 10.
2 years negligent homicide. All we saying is be fair with Karmelo Anthony as well. If you're gonna punish him, punish him. But punish him like a child that made a mistake, not somebody that intended to take a life.
That's what I've been saying.
We did this to that family, nigga. All the niggas that claim brought race into this. This wasn't a racial issue. This was a bullying issue. This was a school bullying issue. It had nothing to do with race. 2 white boys bullying a new nigga that was favorable to everybody. They said he wasn't supposed to be under that tent. He had every right to be under that tent. He was just under the same tent last week with these same kids. You know who wasn't at the tent? The Metcalf brothers.
He was at the same
They were the ones suspended. So that's why the narrative come in and saying Karmelo was suspended. He wasn't supposed to be on a tent. No, the Metcalf brothers were suspended a week prior. That's why they showed up. They hadn't seen the nigga. Everybody else was comfortable with it. The 2 bullies pushed everybody. The coach didn't give them permission to run nothing. Children can't run anything over children, and this is other schools here. The Metcalf brothers was just coming back to school from their suspension from the track meet. The coach texted him to keep good leadership.
And mind you, Charleston White don't know.
And that's crazy. He gonna say that man know he being recorded. I don't know. I don't care what Charles White say. He know he being recorded. Anton Daniels is one of his friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, I watch Anton Daniels a lot. Anton Daniels damn near record and stream, live stream and record and edit shit all day. He drops shorts all day. You know what I'm saying? And he record 2, 3, 4 videos every single day. So you know if you call him, most likely he live stream. You got something on the Karmelo Anthony case because you done, Charleston White, you done plugged yourself into the case by feeding this family these lies that you gonna put 75,000 up towards his appeal. When really you ain't even got 75,000 to put up, but you trying to make 75,000. So you put your name all in this main situation. You know what I'm saying? Giving his parents false hope, meaning you giving him false hope because they coming back telling him because they excited. Ooh, Charleston White gonna help with your case. And then they gotta come back and tell him, oh, Charleston White, he with the shit, you know how he is on social media. He not gonna fuck with, you know what I'm saying? They gotta tell him he not gonna fuck with us no more. So I don't fuck with Charleston White just because of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, if you gonna keep it real, keep it real. You get no fuck what his parents doing. You gonna help him cause he's an innocent soul. Help him, my nigga. He a kid. He ain't got shit to do with what his parents done did. You know what I'm saying? If they done did that. Cause all of that's allegedly. You know what I'm saying? So, at the same time, I ain't gonna play with his ass, man. But yeah, y'all know what it is, man. What is this? Blocks.ms Analytics. What are we? Blocks.analysts. What did we just do? We just analyzed the fuck out of that shit. I love you, chat. Thank you, chat. And God bless you. Don't forget to like the video, leave your comments down below, and subscribe to the channel to become a part of the family. Listen, man, you've been chilling with yours truly, all the way from Memphis. It's Blocks.ms. Don't you forget me.